Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Doruk, and I have another War of the Ring game for you today. And I'm super excited for this game because my opponent is quadratic. I think they've been on the server for like a long time, and they're an excellent player. And recently, they won a big tournament, so huge props on that. Um, and I was looking forward to this game to play against such a high skilled opponent, not only to test my own skills, but to see where some knowledge gaps or some skill gaps exist between myself and the higher, uh, like better players. So this is a league game, uh, and we agreed to play three people for 2 tokens. Yeah, and my opponent will be playing with 3 people first game, and I have Shadow. So without further ado, let's begin. So I have a many kings and candles of corpses, which are not terrible cards. The many kings is good if you want to go north. It's an excellent recruitment card for the south rounds, and candles is a bit also interesting. It's a potentially huge damaging, huge corruption dealing card, and it's also a very good defensive card. But you know, it's a little early probably, but oh well. And yeah, my opponent. Again, I don't like showing these cards, but I think my opponent also has a very interesting hand. I personally like there and back again a lot. It gives defending the north a big shot, but yeah, and power automaton is always nice, and it can be cyclable, so it's good. It's good. So I allocate one eye because I wanted to take the game a little bit more into unfamiliar territory, like maybe create a little bit more variety. I didn't want to just play the classic Shadow Military Rush versus Ring Rush. Um, Again, mainly because I think Ring Rushes like have a potential to work, but they also have the least amount of value in terms of game. Like you get unlucky. They're like still things you need to be careful of, but I just wanted to maybe lean a little bit onto corruption and see how that works because I haven't been experimenting with that part, and especially now that I have candles, I'm more inclined to do so. Right, so I allocated one eye, roll one more, got my musters. It's a great roll, and my opponent also, got movement and got musters, and they have a playable Palantir. So I think it's a good start for both of us. So my opponent starts by passing. I put down Isengard, and they immediately cycle Power of Tom Bombadil, and I just get both nations to war. There's no reason to get Saruman immediately because technically I want to catch them, right? I don't want to give them turn one Gandalf, and I missed them. Uh, I start I start going for the classic Alvin Pincer, and by now I think like people have been maybe sick of this kind of maneuvering with the elves with the shadow armies going for the Elven Pincer. But I really wanted to see how my opponent deals with this situation, right? It's a fairly common situation. I think three people can find themselves in this situation a lot of the times, and to get the perspective of how an elite player uh like quadratic deals with it would I think that would be I found it to be insightful, right? My opponent moves again. They're safe again. Unfortunate, I would like to have caught them. I move towards yeah, the Elven Strongholds. The reason I move this Dol Guldur army first out because there's still Shadows of the Misty Mountains. There's some still Pits of Mordor's. Maybe like I can recruit some in there. With the final die, my opponent musters down the elves because I'm going for the Elven Pincer, so it makes total sense. And I get to Saruman last die. Perfectly reasonable fine first turn. Turn two, I draw two great cards, right? Deadly Strife is excellent, and a red tile, right? Um, Again, it might be a little early for the red tile, but seeing that I'm going for corruption, I don't mind it. Allocate one, roll two more. It's a little, whatever. I don't mind it, especially if I can reveal my opponent into Moria. Um, but other than that, two Palantirs. I have playable cards. It's not a terrible roll. My opponent gets an excellent roll, very flexible. They immediately go start by moving because they obviously want to kill Gandalf, but like they move, they safe. It's there, they're safe. I would have really appreciated if I could reveal them into Moria here, and I had a decent shot, like around just under 50% probably. Um, but yeah, I mean that's the risk of going for corruption game. I mean, it was not like I didn't choose to allocate three eyes. I had to allocate one eye and then two more. But like that's the risk for going for the corruption game, right? Like the eyes you allocate could just turn out to be utterly useless. So I start moving, and my opponent passes, and I draw a strategy card. I could have technically played On They Went and Many Kings, but I felt like, why did I draw a card here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it? Maybe this is a mistake. Yeah, just like, I think it was perfectly acceptable to play On They Went and Many Kings. Um, so, yeah, maybe slightly unnecessary card draw here. My opponent decides to do fun stuff, as they call it. And because they have banked three movements already, and they have a will that they weren't able to kill off Gandalf. Like what usually would someone would do here, they would ring move, right? They would hope for a catch in the hunt and kill off Gandalf and get Gandalf with the will. Now that piles a bunch of corruption on you. And against three eyes, yeah, that might be a little unnecessary. You will end up on Dimril Dale, which now naturally has rerolls on you. It's maybe not the most appealing option. So my opponent uses a ring to separate Gandalf and Gimli into the Woodland Realm. And that's exactly 7 movements to get them there. Now, yeah, they just like basically activate the dwarves, the north, move elves north and the dwarves one down each. They get to I almost said crown Gandalf. They will get Gandalf the White with the will. For giving me a ring, they basically got 3 musters worth of stuff and a separation. So that's like 4 dice worth out of a single dice. I mean, obviously, they would have much rather use a character dice, but I think this is a very efficient, effective play. And now, like, I'm so far behind in Daggerlad that like by the time I get there, like these armies are gonna be huge, like the Gandalf army, right? Especially they can just use a monster token and bring them down. But so it was very interesting play, and it is fun, right? It's completely it's unique, right? They did 5 corruption damage to themselves, right? Which is great for me if I'm going for a corruption game. So I don't mind this at all. But like I somehow need to deal with this army. Now at this point, this is the fork in the road for me. Um, I basically have to decide whether I'm going to commit to going north with this Daggerlad army, or I can pivot to maybe Gondor. And funnily enough, I asked my opponent, how do I deal with fun? And he just says, disregard do and acquire Gondor. Which is kind of true. Like, you can do that, right? This Daggerlad army not technically committed to going north. I can just, like, pivot to North Ithilien. Which usually what happens when you're attacking Gondor anyway, right? You just put these guys in North Ithilien, put these guys into South Ithilien, bring the Southrons into Western Horondor, and you surround Gondor and you just like attack. Even though I really don't have good dice to facilitate that, because you need a lot of army movements to be able to do that. So I'm trying to decipher what to do, and I was looking at maybe I should attack Lorien, right, with this Dimrildale and get the Witch King. That's an option. But then these guys are left behind, and I really don't have the army movement to be able to do that play, right? That's another downside of rolling eyes, right? Yeah, I'm doing corruption, but my military is like not as fast enough, as fast as it needs to be. Um, so that was an option, or going up here and basically challenge Gandalf with the Daggerlad army and these obviously these northeastern Southron armies. This plus these armies usually take the north, right? So I was immediately like, okay, I can challenge Gandalf, put them under siege, and basically see how many elites they muster, see how many bad things happen to that army. Just make sure that they're contained, and with the rest of my stuff, I can just take Erebor and Dale, and that's still 3 points. That's another very reasonable way to deal with this army that's gonna appear in Woodland Realm. And I didn't realize this at the time when I was playing the game, but like the Elven force pool is very tiny. So if they just overcommit mustering the elves down, they might leave Lorien and Rivendell completely open, right? So it's another very good reason to maybe go attack this army, contain it. Or I can just let them be because there's really no clear targets where this army can go, and if they stray away from this Woodland Realm, too far away, I can just get a free Woodland Realm. So it's a very interesting situation, and I'm curious what you would have done. Like, do you think it's best to pivot to Gondor, or do you think it's best to challenge Gandalf and like put them under siege, make sure they don't become a threat, or you just maybe attack into Lorien a little bit inefficiently, but get Witch King? All of these things were going in my head. So and I decided to just basically use the muster to muster down the Southrons because I'm not gonna get the Witch King. My opponent gets Gandalf the White, and I start going up north. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Okay, there's still 3 more points to be got from there, from the north, Dale and Erebor. And if I can contain Gandalf and Gimli, well, that's at least something, right? Like, I basically force my opponents to use musters into that army and defend Gandalf. And if I don't take it, if I don't attack this army in Woodland Realm, then the musters they spent in this army are basically wasted, right? So that's another reason to actually go for that plan. My opponent used their token to put the elves down to war. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And then I just put on they went. I read good. Again, corruption is still in the back of my mind, and that's kind of where I'm strong, so I would like to do it. And my opponent opponent musters musters the elves, Lorien. Now that I'm looking at this may have been a mistake by me, because maybe instead of playing I guess I didn't realize, I just like it was an oversight on my part. I should have used the Palantir and ring attack to Lorien to not let them muster in there again. Like at this point, it sucks that these 3 dudes are out, but that's kind of the risk you take by moving this North Dunland unit into Moria, right? Like, because I'm 1 move behind. Had my half move been into Dimrildale instead of into Moria, then I could have been in a position to muster. So I think that was like well played by my opponent, and I think it was a missed chance by me. I think it was a mistake. I should have definitely like besieged them and not let them muster, and then they would have mustered into there, and then yeah, all right. I think this was I can safely say this was a mistake, but oh well. Um, I draw Isildur and Denethor's Folly, which is great. I mean, this is another benefit of having that Moria tile. Now that Devilry is playable in Lorien, right? I locate an eye, and I roll no more. And but I get a little bit. I mean, pound is a decent roll. Oh, I say I allocate one eye, but I actually don't allocate it. So yeah, I don't allocate it. So by per rules of the etiquette, you usually give up your last die. So my opponent like asks like basically tells me that I can like roll again, but I'm just like, no, it's okay. I'll just put the hybrid in there. Yeah, my opponent, yeah, moves, and they're safe. And yeah, I get going with the plan. Now with this roll, I'm just gonna besiege Lorien. Um, I'm gonna besiege Lorien, and I'm gonna get the Witch King. I might get into also besiege Woodland Realm. But at this point, right, if I move 1, 2, 3 more times, which I have enough attacks, I can basically catch the Woodland Realm army a little weak, right? I need to immediately move. They muster once, move, muster again, put them under siege, and it's a 1-3 army. My opponent passes. I just like put Lorien under siege, even though I just didn't want to give my opponent to muster into Lorien, right? My opponent has time to muster into Woodland Realm if they choose to. I can't do anything about it. So might as well take the option of putting one more person, one more elite in the Woodland Realm. And I play mini kings. I think this is again mistake. I should just like go towards the old forest road. There's no rush to play mini kings. And they muster and I keep going. I go to Eastrun, right? Makes sense. I will need those armies. And they put the Old Forest Road. I get the Witch King in Lorien. I basically want to be done with Lorien because I'm not planning to attack Woodland Realm, right? I'm not planning to attack Woodland Realm. I'm more so just planning to just go to Erebor, in fact. Right? I'm not planning to attack, even though I said I will just put the Woodland Realm on siege, but like my plan at this point is just Dale into Erebor. But like I want to be done with Woodland Realm first. But maybe my opponent moves, they're safe. So far they have moved 5 times and only caught, never caught actually. I never actually caught them. Um, I play Candles, but I can't because Fellowship is still in Rivendell. So I take it back. And I attack Lorien. Let's see. I play probably a Devilry, and my opponent no core. I play Deadly Strife. Okay, that's one way to do it. That's 5 hits. That's really good. That's why you have the Deadly Strifes. My opponent gets 3+1 for the card, and yeah, I press, play Devilry now, and my opponent like perfectly plays advantageous position. That was a well played card because I would have gotten it. And they basically were able to waste one more dice with that card play. Excellent play. I wonder why my opponent didn't play advantageous position the first time. Like I could have easily played Devilry first, right? But I guess that was the highest likelihood that they get the hit. Interesting. And they move for the third time, and this time I catch them with an eye. One reveal, they go through Moria, they take the corruption, I draw an eye. Well, unfortunate. Well, and with this last Palantir, I can attack into Woodland Realm with the ring. But at this point, I'm like, I'm also trying to deal corruption damage, and I would really like to play like candles. Isildur's Bane is a little stronger because I technically would want the pool to be like I would want Fellowship track to be a little higher, maybe. And there's still two eyes and two zero reveals. So like none of these reveals would make any sense. So the only technically playable card is I think candles, and I do play and I get 3 hits. That's like, you know, above average and what you really would need, what I really needed to get like the corruption strategy a little bit back on track because the Fellowship has been cruising along. Turn 4, I draw Shadows in the Misty Mountains and Black Captain Commands. All right, that's good. I allocate 2 eyes. I allocate 2 eyes. I'm really trying to catch the Fellowship. But that's a little too much, I think. That's like, because they're revealed, they will only be likely to be able to move 2 times at the most, right? They're going to be moving 2 times at most. And I have Black Captain commands. So if I just put a Nazgul on them with 2 eyes already in the pool, I'll be rolling 3 dice. Which means in 2 movements, I'll definitely catch. I have a high chance of catching them once at least. But 3 is a little bit too much. But my opponent can just not get any movement, right? They'll hide with this, probably. Okay, they're playing Celeborn, which is, maybe, well, that's why you should have ring attacked. You know, such is life. Now I also need to put some reinforcements into Lorien. I muster down the Southrons. Sure. Opponent passes. I play Shadows on the Misty Mountain. Okay. They hide. Yeah, I start moving. I start moving, and I'm not sure if this Vela Karnan movement is good. My idea is, like I said, is just to go Dale, Erebor, and just take. So maybe like these guys in Eastrun to take Iron Hills is one movement that I should be doing. Fellowship moves. And I don't get him. I don't get him. I allocated 2 eyes and I don't get him. So, like, maybe even alternatively, I should have played Black Captain Commands, moved an Nazgul on top of them, and but like that's the thing, I can't Black Captain like, am I gonna attack Lorien with the Black Captain Commands? It's a little unfortunate. It's like slow. I want to use Black Captain Commands to attack into Dale and move Nazgul, but yeah, it doesn't feel good to just not get them in 3 dice for many a times. So I reinforce. I take Iron Hills now. All right. They muster an elite into Woodland Realm, and I attack Lorien. I want to be done with Lorien. They no cards it. I get 2 hits, and I still couldn't get him. And at this point I should, I'm press drawing. I draw into Shadows Gather. Excellent. And I get my hit. All right, cool. Lorien done. It was a little bit of a mess. But you know, it was fine, and now there's a big army left over that can go down to maybe Helm's Deep or my opponent plays Red Arrow. Now, yeah, my naturally next target will probably be on the south, right? If it's Erebor, Dale, Lorien, I need 5 more points, which is like Pelargir and 2 strongholds, probably, right? So like Rohan and Emsdeeps always need to be defended, so my opponent like preemptively defends them. I think excellent use of that dice. And I use Black Captain commands to attack Dale. I no cards it. I get a hit on the reroll. My opponent rolls a hit. Okay. It's surprising that it's surprising that they used the red arrow as an effect instead of a scout, maybe from Dale. But I think it also makes sense such that they defend Rohan a little stronger, right? All right, that's good. Day Without Dawn and Devilry. All right, Frodo is in Druden Forest. Okay. Nope, Emil, sure. I locate 2 eyes again. I'm just like trying to catch the fellowship, but at this point, is it even worth it? I'm not even sure. Like I played Black Captain commands and not put a Nazgul on them when they were in Eastamnet, but I probably should have, because had they kept moving, they might be in reach to put some companions on the map. Something to think about. Yeah, and I get this, very flexible role, got a bit of everything, and my opponent also gets movements and enough movements to actually get into Mordor. Opponent recruits an Elven regular and a regular in Bree. I guess they wanted to sure up. Like I'm clearly threatening to put Woodland Realm under siege. Uh, I do put Woodland Realm under siege.
Nor is he early. He
Leave some
arrives
dudes
precisely
behind.
when he means
So
to.
basically, at this point, I expect that army to just stay on top of that Gandalf army for eternity, because there's no way I can take that army on. My opponent moves, they're safe again. All right. And then I go to Wela Karnan, and then I go Farharad to Nirharad. Now Erebor is on the menu. But like the way I moved my leadership was very inefficient, because had I known, if I like, maybe I like decided late that I needed these guys. Maybe I needed to make sure that my opponent doesn't take a field battle, but I don't think they would ever take a field battle, even if there was no leadership here. So I should have really have my leadership up here with the Iron Hills army, because I will need to. My opponent moves again, and by the way, I missed them again on the second movement. At this point, I try to keep them out by playing a Slur's Bane, because if they ring move, they get into Mordor, and if I reveal them, they don't. So I need to do it, and yep, I don't reveal them. And I had if you discount these, like 5 out of, I guess like a 5 out of a 14, a little bit over like 1/3 chance to reveal them. Unfortunate. You know, like I had a chance to catch them first movement, like what, 30%. The second movement I had a chance of catching them, like what? Second movement on the second die is like what, 52%? 52% I missed. I ended up missing another 30. Like, I think that was a little unlucky, to be honest, to never catch them and never reveal them, but like that's sometimes the game, right? Um My opponent pass. They will play around Cruel Weather. I I use the of Saruman to get some elites into Orthanc. Because technically, right, if I attack into forts and Helm's Deep, I can just take a cheap Helm's Deep. So if unless my opponent uses these dice to to help shore up Helm's Deep, right? And they recognize it and they make the move. And they also very smartly, I think, they move this guy into Weather Hills. Now, earlier I alluded to the lack of elvish recruitment in the pool now that they recruited basically 3 times with Gandalf. Elven Force Pool is empty, completely empty. So Rivendell is completely empty. Grey Havens is completely empty. So my opponent is preemptively moving this Northman elite to help defend Rivendell. And by this time, by this point, I still haven't realized that Rivendell could be my next target very easily because there's nobody to help Rivendell anymore. But my like the theme of this game was just my opponent was one step ahead of me constantly. Like I I was just confused as to what to do and how to do it and how to deal with certain things, and my opponent was again one step ahead of me constantly. Um, so it just left me almost like a planless. I wasn't able to formulate a plan and follow through with it, and that basically caused many inefficiencies with army movements and musters and everything. I think that was like just I was like all over the place, right? I was not able to stick to my guns and like choose a plan and let's go for this. Um, because like what you need to do as shadows, I think you need to formulate a good plan with the cards and the board state, and you have to go for it. And then if something happens, I mean something will happen because again, free people is trying to like like they try to like mess your plan up, then you need to reassess, and you need to reassess in such a way, hey, if they do this very likely thing they might be doing, what do I do then? Like it's a bit of a back and forth. You need to have a plan B, plan C, but like you need to have a plan A. And I just like was I didn't have any plans, so I was like all over the place. Like what is this Nazgul, like one Nazgul down in the Eastern doing? Had they been on top of the fellowship, I might have definitely been able to catch him, like at least improve my odds. Like it's lucky that this fellowship was not caught, but like it's also like on me because I could have very easily increased my shot at catching them, right? I'm trying to catch the fellowship by allocating 2 eyes, but not catching them and not put a Nazgul on top of them. It's just like all over the place. And this is the kind of thing I mean where I felt very confused and behind every step of the way. So I muster. Oh no. So at this point, I realized the potential to go in. I can like force this die, this last H die, and make my opponent defend Helm's Deep or get into Mordor, right? And I would personally go into Mordor, right? But after the game, my opponent told me that they would have defended Helm's Deep. And personally, I don't know which one's correct. Like, looking at this board state. Yes, I'm gonna attack Erebor. I have Dale, I have Lorien, but where are my other 5 points coming from? Right? It's so unclear. Like this South army is gonna do something, like 3 points maybe, Minas Tirith and Pelargir and Dalarmath and Pelargir. But where are my other points coming from? They already moved in to defend Rivendell, which is very weak because of lack of force pool again. And my other points probably Helm's Deep, right? So if they defend Helm's Deep, they might just very easily take a turn off of me, right? So I'm curious as to what you would have done had I gone for this Helm's Deep push as free people. Like, do you defend Helm's Deep or do you get into Mordor, right? It's very interesting because it's also like your third move against 2 eyes. You will definitely get caught this time, and you'll eat bunch of corruption. So It's a consideration for sure, right? I attack Erebor, and basically my opponent passes, and now I have this is my last chance to push for Helm's Deep with the ring, but I don't. I just like move my leadership around because like I said, I previously didn't properly allocate leadership. And this Nazgul is still not on top of this guy because I'm still dreaming of maybe attacking into this army somehow, some way. But even if I attack it, I will need full leadership. Not only that, there's Gandalf, so like these leadership don't even matter. So why is Nazgul even here? I don't even know. If my opponent gets into Mordor and actually gets into it safe, I'm like cooked. Like I'm already cooked, I'm already behind, but I would be like super cooked. And my opponent, because I didn't threaten Helm's Deep, right? They move in. I think they're expecting to be revealed here because it's, I mean, more than 50% chance that you are. But I have a ring, so if I have cruel weather, I mean, I have one character dice, a character card showing. So potential, possible, maybe, but all right. And I catch them this time and I reveal them. So that's one reveal. Do you take it and go to 6? Do you take a random and risk Strider? When it's be super inefficient, right? Any of the hobbits is obviously good. But I get Legolas. I'm okay with that, right? Like it's inefficiency, it's a little bit more corruption than I would have otherwise dealt. And it's not the Hobbit for the best case for my opponent, it's not the Strider that would be the best case for me. I think that's like best of both worlds for both of us. And for the more the Moradon tiles of 3, that's huge. Right? You can't take this, you have to, and he kills my opponent kills Strider, and this was surprising. I would have definitely taken a random, but like taking a very efficient Strider such that you can reduce down to Golem very efficiently is also very appealing. Plus, if you get one of the Hobbits, you still go up 2. Now you're in danger zone, and I played Isildur, but I still have like red. Like this is like being on 7 is a bit dangerous, right? You might get 0 revealed, 0 revealed. Like you want to get down to Golem as soon as possible. So I understand it. It's a choice. What's the best choice? I think taking the Strider is the correct option. And I dealt 5 corruption damage by a single move, right? This is another reason why maybe had I threatened Helm's Deep, they would have moved into it to not take these 5 corruptions. Because only because of this exact reveal, the corruption game is back on the menu for me. And I use a ring, and I don't know, maybe my opponent was just like, I mean, oh yeah, they revealed, so yeah, it doesn't even matter. So I attack Erebor. I need to be done with it and like try moving down south. I Relentless Assault, Valor. I take 2 hits and I roll an amazing roll, 4 hits. My opponent gets 3. No, I get 2. No, wait. Jesus, this. I press and draw. I have a single press. And I draw into Storm Great Host, which I will definitely play. And yeah, that's perfectly plays around Shield Wall. I rolled 2 hits anyways. It was over anyway. I just needed a single hit. Yeah, that was a very efficient error board by me. I mean, I got a really lucky roll, first roll, so that was really good. And I have enough armies up here that like even if this Gandalf army tried to make a crazy push, like sortie out and retake all this, like I still have enough armies to make it difficult for them. I get Nazgul Strike, a 1 turn too late, but that's always what happens. I know fighting Urukai. Alright, now, like fighting Urukai, had I like started maybe mustering in North Dunland, Rivendell would have been a very easy Urukai target. And I here I allocate 3 eyes. It's just that I need these eyes to be these eyes need to hurt. Like corruption, I'm going for corruption and slow military, so I need all the eyes I can get right now. And I add one more. And they get like 3 movements, right? I don't think they will move 3 times. They can even just hide once and just not take the extra corruption and waste all these eyes, but they really don't have much to do with those character dice. I mean, I can look at their hand and see that they have Smeagol and the act like they can't play Axe of Bow. That's kind of funny. Um, yeah, so like technically, like they only can play Smeagol, but or they can draw an eye with they can draw a card with the will and just hide with one, and then play Smeagol with the other. Like they can be slow. They can go slow because Shadow Military is slow. They hide with the will. Okay, you know. I think trading this Palantir for that will might not have been the worst thing to happen. Now that you would have the knowledge of not having to deal with that, but and I get armies and I just go and like I'm looking at this and my opponent plays Smeagol. Yep. And at this point I move everyone on top of Gandalf. And I was thinking about attacking it. And I don't know why. I should just like leave that army be, not even attack it, don't care about it. This is a huge army. It's good that they're here, but now I should not attack. But like what in my head, I'm like, I need to attack with the Witch King and cycle character cards. Because that's I need to find those red tiles. I need to find those foul thing, orc patrols, like all those stuff to hurt the fellowship as much as I can. So I need to do something with the Witch King. But like I should do something with the Witch King down here, down with the West Horonda or like these Mordor units. My opponent moves. They get the eye 4 reveal, huge, right? I basically kill the entire fellowship in one go. I mean, Gollum is nice, all right. Getting getting down to Gollum is good for my opponent, but like I just like completely killed off everyone, and now I just need to deal 7 more corruption, right? And I played dreadful spells. Like this is this was like interesting because I can't cycle this character card because it has a devilry and I don't have any Isengard units anywhere. It's it's one of the only 2 uncyclable character cards, the other one being Balrog. So I'm like, okay, I'll just like see what kind of roll I get, which I'm like fine, and I only get 1 hit. Like that's what you would expect. So I guess that's fair. My opponent moves down Gondor because that's clearly where I'm targeting. I get the mouth. Sure. My opponent draws a card. Okay. And I attack Woodland Realm. And I think this is a huge mistake. Like just move these armies down somewhere, man. Like do something else. Um but like at this point I'm like I need to cycle. I need to get these black breaths out of my hand and like whatever, Gandalf Shining. And they like it's so dumb because I just basically made this wizard staff a playable card. Like I really shouldn't have. I get 1 hit. No rerolls, yeah. Because Gandalf is shining. My opponent gets 4 hits. And this is what can happen. Now that like beautiful 11 hit point army reduced to 7. Yeah, I stop. I draw into foul thing like that. Like those are the cycles important. That's what I wanted. But like I think wasting attacks in Woodland Realm is just dangerous and unnecessary. My opponent puts Gondor to war. Nope. They move into Helm's Deep and they yeah, like my opponent is playing this perfectly. They've, like I said, been one step ahead of me at every corner. Now Rivendell's defended. Helm's Deep is super defended. Where do I get my other 5 points? I will need a heroic attack on Gondor to get 3, or maybe all 5 there, but like, yeah, it's gonna be tough. My opponent gets guards. Well, alright. My cards are good, right? I have Shadow Length and Shadow Gather, so I can, if I get some bunch of muscles, I can just merge armies very quickly. I allocate an eye, I roll one more. Opponent gets no movements. And this is another way I can win the game, right? If my opponent gets no movements. So this time, you have to use this because if you don't, I'm just gonna get a ring out of you for you to hide, which is definitely not what you want. And I start mustering in Orthanc because I have fighting Urukai, right? My idea is at this point is that I'm gonna get Helm's Deep, Pelargir, and like Minas Tirith, I think. Because I'm like DA is technically like my opponent's showing a lot of mustard, so I can't just easily get that. And they can't play Kirdens, but they can play Imrahil, but they also have guards. So I think I'm looking at these 3 points. My opponent passes. I move everyone. I'm still looking to and I move this Nazgul here to be one day like just slowly make my way down, but I don't think I have that many half movements. Or maybe like play Shadow Gathers to like meet up in Druden Forest or something. I attack Pelargir. I'm just trying to find those reds, man. I get a hit. I cycle. I draw a character card. My opponent starts mustering in Dol Amroth. I attack Osgiliath. And the reason I don't go towards DA but to Minister because I have these Shadow Lengthens and Shadow Gathers cards. It's just very easily I can just reinforce Minas Tirith from Minas Morgul. I can just muster bunch and then just like basically teleport this entire army on top of Minas Tirith. Or I can teleport this Lorien army on top of Minas Tirith. So that's why I decided to go that way. Okay, 2 hits. I forget my Witch King draw, which is important. That's why I'm playing for it. And my opponent musters an elite. I put Minas Tirith under siege. My opponent passes, and I realize I forgot my Witch King draw. My opponent allows me to draw, and I get Shelobs. Like, I would have cycled into Shelob, which means I immediately want to play it because my opponent can just ring move. So I hit undo trying to clear the dice, but in fact I undo my card draw, which made me panic because oh no, I lost the card and now I need to get it. My opponent allows me to just like find the card if I need to and give me my password, so like it was fine. But like in fact, just redoing it got the card again, so that's cool. So if you undo your card, you can just redo it back to your hand, which is cool. So I manually this time made sure to move back the dice and play the Shelob. That was kind of funny. All right. Yeah, my opponent is now threatening Moria and they're Dol Guldur. Like, they're basically saying, hey, you're not going to get to 10, so now you need to use this muster, and not as an attack, but as an actual muster. Which I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, I have to. My opponent plays Elven Rope. Um, and I play Foul Thing. Like, I play Foul Thing. It's my last character dice. I'm basically trying to reveal my opponent, right? maybe so that they don't roll. I'm trying to reveal. I'm trying to deal some damage. With 3 eyes in the pool and 2 reds, is it okay to play it? I'm just trying to slow down the fellowship with some reveals. Like, that's my idea. Maybe like this 5 2 6 cannot take this 2 3. This is like 7. This is 9 hit points. This is not enough. I need to reinforce this place. And I get a 2 reveal. My opponent is revealed and takes 1 corruption. But like, it's interesting because now my opponent can spend their entire turn just hiding and not doing anything else and doing like putting stuff in military, and they will be fine. And my idea, like I said, is attack Helm's Deep and attack Minas Tirith at this point. Maybe if I get an insane roll, I go to North Dunland and go towards Rivendell. Like, that's an option. I still haven't found Rage. I draw Orc Patrol and Rage. Well, there you go. Allocate 1 eye, roll 1 more. My opponent gets again a low movement roll. This is like exactly what I want. My opponent hides again. I muster in Orthanc. So yeah, now that they can't dunk, I will go for these things. And I have like decent attacks. And I have 2 Palantirs. It's fighting Urukai. It can be used as Shadows Gather. I genuinely, probably, looking at my force pool, I probably should use the voice once and used Rage into South Downs. And then tried sneaking into Rivendell. But I just like don't do that. I just like kind of pigeonhole, like not pigeonhole. I just like don't see anything else, but like just like I only see red of this Helm's Deep, and I think that was a mistake. I attack into Fords. Okay, I know card. I get okay. I kill everyone in the Fords. Now Rohan's at war. They muster an elite. And I beseech Helm's Deep. Now it's a 2/5/5 against an 8 hit point army against 12. So this is like still not enough. This is a huge army in Helm's Deep. But I can technically, right, maybe use the voice once and muster an elite here and like basically make this army a 4/6, which would be 16 hit points. But like this siege is gonna be very difficult. But I do have fighting Urukai, so I can technically blow it up. I know my opponent probably has some Ents. So this is gonna be a tough siege, but I definitely need to reinforce it a little bit more before I commit to it. And I can basically just do that with Rage. I can Rage to Gap of Rohan, right? I can Rage to Gap of Rohan. I can muster an elite, my last elite. Get like 3 more dudes on Gap of Rohan and just basically Shadow Lengthens on top of this army. And basically make this army full, right? And also, by the way, I still need to reinforce Minas Tirith twice. Like I would have really appreciate if this was a 5/4/6, right? Which is like if I like muster twice in Minas Morgul, I can just make it make it full, make this full, and just like with one attack, I can take it, even though I don't have any musters. Looking at my cards, like I can't muster anything. That's a little unfortunate, actually, not being able to muster. But yeah. Now, with all these army movements, like, what do you do actually? That it's interesting. Like, I can like reinforce uh from up here, from Lorien with a Shadow Lengthens. And I can actually ring muster. That would be interesting. Like I can ring muster, move armies, maybe like I can definitely reinforce these somehow with the shadow lengthens and a ring. It would be very interesting to see how it would be like. Ringmaster and Orthanc, move, shadow lengthens here for make this full. Put an extra elite in there, and then maybe half movement, shadow gathers here, and then like attack, which would be like maybe 5 dice. Exactly like move. Shadow lengthens one, set second movement, shadow lengthens again. That's third, attack. That's like 4 5, maybe. But like with this roll, my opponent is not even likely to dunk next turn, right? So I can actually like take the time to actually properly reinforce an attack. And I kind of do that. I don't like this gore growth into there, but whatever. I mean, I would really much appreciate at least one more elite in here, but like I can't. So, um, what are you gonna do? And I do this, and I don't like this. I guess okay, I'm like looking to shadow lengthens, but I think do that. All right. I don't hate this, but obviously it's not as efficient as if I played like if I had an extra elite in there, if there was a 7-3. Because this is now a 12 hit point army against a 7 hit point army, which is again not like quite double. So it's like, you know, and this is a 12, 16 hit point army against 8 hit point army. This is enough, but like this battle is gonna be tough, right? I think I'm a little bit of an underdog probably in Minas Tirith. I'm like, this is like a decent shot, 4 6 6, right? 12, 16 hit points versus 8, but like they have a lot of hit points here. And plus they will probably have ents, and I don't have any swarms of bats. I just have fighting Urukai. Um my opponent draws a character card and draws into ents. Wow, that was like a little lucky. I attack Minas Tirith. Sure. I technically want to be done with Minas Tirith and maybe Shadows gather on top of this army. But again, like this is not a clear cut win, right? Like it's a 12 versus 7. And looking at my cards, yeah, I want to obviously play and cycle. And I'm keeping Shadows Gathers, I'm keeping Fighting Urukai, so I can only cycle one of these two. So I think I probably play Rage into Daylight. I take 2 hits, deal 1 hit. My opponent deals 2. It's a bad round for me. And at this point, I think this press is wrong. I can just very easily reinforce with this army, right? I can very easily reinforce this army, and this army is now like weak. I have half movements that I want to do to Eastham Net to fold and Edoras. Like, so I have like, I think this is a mistake. I should just like ring reinforce something. Because when I take my casualties like this and I press, it's like a 7 versus like 6. I have a great host. I no card it. Get no hits. My opponent rolls 4 hits, which was disastrous. So at this point, this was probably a game losing roll, game losing decision. Let's say, let's not say game losing roll, because I should, like I said, I should not have pressed. I should just kept it and prepared the reinforcing of these armies. This 4 6 6 again, it's not at all clear that I'm going to take this. I'm a little likely, like if I reinforce it, I'm super likely to get this. But like I'm trying to be fast, but I also have Shadows Gather, so I can just muster an Orthanc and also in one fell swoop just reinforce Helm's Deep. So I can reinforce Helm's Deep. I just need to reinforce Minister and win Minister and be done with it. But like allowing this, making this risky attack basically caused like, okay, Ministerit is just out of the question now. Not only that, my opponent's sortie is out of Ministerit, plays a strategy card, and I have no defensive cards. I don't have any dread and spares. I don't have any foul stenches or like whatever. Right? I know card my opponent charges. I mean, it's a little, you know, you're trying to get 5 or 6 with a single roll. You know, they don't get it, but they can just like very much naturally can get 3 hits. And they got 2. They have 1 reroll. They miss, but like that was close. And I get no hit back, which is like okay, salt in the wound a little bit, but like whatever, right? Like at this point, it's yeah, not good. Not only I wait, not only like I need to reinforce this or like this army again. That I need my opponent can just like keep mustering in minister. So this minister was such a mess and such a horrible outcome for me. Like I just basically threw the game, right? Um, yeah. So that was rough. That was a rough fight. And I like. It's so funny because I reinforce because otherwise my opponent can just go at the Witch King. So I basically make the same move that I would have made had I not pressed. This is just yeah, this is poorly played. My opponent, okay, they draw next turn. Um, I kill Cruel Weather. Yeah, I mean I like my cards. I like Heal Trolls is nice. Definitely, I can just like do something with it. Now I roll eyes and I have musters and my opponent has movement. Yeah, it's like unlikely that they will dunk, but as insane as this is, I can just besiege Minas Tirith, muster bunch in Minas Morgul, shadows gather on top of them, right? And have a shot. I am still like not out of the game completely. But my opponent, what did they do? Oh, they drew a free character card. And yeah, they just used they're worried about corruption, so they're waiting. But at this point, I should just attack. I mean, would they take a field battle here against that? Maybe. Like, would you take a field battle if I'm free here with my cards? Oof, I probably with a Valor. If you play Valor, like you're totally like can just inflict damage. Yeah. I attack Helm's Deep. Why do I attack Helm's Deep? Oh my god. Why do I flip mouth? Okay, this is just bad. I mean, I want to start seeing what happens in Helm's Deep to see if I need musters in Orthanc. But like I definitely need musters in Minas Tirith, so. And by the way, I completely forgot about fighting Urukai. It's just in my hand and I'm like looking to play it. But like instead of playing it like a normal person, I just like threw away Hill Trolls. Which would be excellent in Osgiliath. And just unnecessarily eat this Ant's Rage. Deal no damage. My opponent gets 6, and my opponent gets 5 hits. Alright, just go away, please. My opponent gets 5 hits, and like I get 2 posts. But like, okay, like this. Okay, I hope I stop. I don't stop. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, what am I doing? Okay. The only thing I can say is that I'm just assuming my opponent will move 3 times, be in a dunking position, and next round they will win. So I need to win this round. So I'm pressing this hard. But genuinely, I should not be doing that because again, corruption is a potential. Like if they move 3 times this turn round, It's likely they eat bunch of corruption, right? Like, why am I throwing away these armies just for nothing? Okay, okay, thank God. I said actually I'll stop. Okay. I just realized the Urukai. I must have realized the Urukai and just like stopped. Okay, thank God. Holy. My opponent musters into Helm's Deep. I ministered it. I start mustering him in a Morgul. Opponent passes. I muster there again. My opponent plays Mithril. At this point, okay, like you're definitely dunking, like in 2 turns. I muster. Okay, because I threw away heal trolls, like it's just all right, whatever. My opponent moves. They get a 1. All right, that's and they reveal, and this is surprising to me because like I guess they feel so safe with the, but like I wouldn't feel so safe, right? Um, like this is. I mean, next round you want to be in contention to dunk, and if you reveal, you're less likely to do here. Ice Shadows Gather. Okay, now this army is a 12 hit point versus it's gonna be what, 7 again. Okay, I attack empty. All right. So again, 12 versus 5 again. I mean, we realize this. There's an extra one later. I get Balrog. That's funny. By the way, I guess I completely forgot to mention. I was looking to cycle character cards, but like the only character card I can play is Orc Patrol, which I something I want to play. I just didn't have the dice to do it. But the character card I draw for turn is Balrog, which is uncyclable, the other uncyclable card. So I'm a little stuck with the character's situation. My opponent gets many movements. They immediately get going. And this is good. They get an eye to reveal. You know, at least they're revealed. They're not gonna mithril this. We fix the extra unit. I attack empty. Minister it again. Just play what? Relentless Assault, I guess. You don't expect to get another turn? Yeah. Against Valor, sure. Take 2. 2 hits. My opponent rolls 0. Alright, that's good. Why do I stop? That was a good attack for me, right? Why am I stopping? Oh my god, man. Just finish them off. Just finish them off. Muster an Ortank couple times. Like, sure, maybe like 3 times. Play Shadows Gather and just attack with Urukai. Yeah, this again, I'm just like not playing well. They hide. I mean, they can technically dunk, but at least force them to dunk, right? I then when they are in contention to dunk, I wanted to reveal them, or at least like pile up some corruption such that at least an eye kills them, a 3 reveal kills them, but I get a 1, so they don't want to mithril it. I think that's very correct thing to do. Like you don't want to mithril away. I attack Minister it. Okay, I'm trying to get it done. Oh, by the way, I cycle into Deadly Strife, which would be excellent in Helm's Deep, but I just like throw it away here. And I only get 2 hits. And my opponent gets 4. Like this has been a tough, tough, tough siege. Yeah, now a 3-1-8 cannot take a 3-0-1. I stop. Yeah, I have to. I attack MT again. 4 units. And I think this was like a desperate play. I think I should have played Desperate Battle, but I played Great Hosts. Oh, I played Desperate. Okay. I Wow. Played that. I played the correct card, but just get 2 -1s. My opponent gets 2. Now it's a 3 versus 2. Stop, pass. I attack, minister it. At this point, I'm just like, why? I'm not just not getting it. And I know I play Great Host here. Not only for the cycle, but at least if I get a single hit, I will most likely trigger Great Host. And my opponent heroic deaths, so it's not even like on the table. So it was like great card play by my opponent. And I don't even get a hit. Right? Maybe I should have Desperate Battle like that. If I had played Desperate Battle, that would have been 3 hits. That would have been enough. Um, yeah, probably should have played Desperate Battle there and not Great Host. But like that compared to every other mistake I've done, I think that feels like the smallest one. My opponent gets 0 hits. Yeah. Now just with these dice, I can't, right? I don't have. Uh yeah, my opponent moves. They get the 3, they mithril it. They get a 2. Now they're just like one step away. They have a ring, so they can just like reveal themselves, hide, and ring move. And I basically help them here. Like I maybe I shouldn't have say when they're thinking. Yeah, I think it's correct for them to not take this too, like I said, because really there isn't any reason to for you to not reveal because you have the dice to move if you need to. And if you take 2, a Shelob 3 kills you. Right? If you take the 2, wait, let's see. A Shelob 3 kills you, any other 3s kill you. All these 3s kill you if you take the 2. So you have to reveal. I think that's like fairly obvious. And like the eyes always kill you. These 3s now become not deadly when you reveal. Yeah, they reveal. I think that's like that. I think my opponent can like like just because I said this doesn't mean that that's like one of like it's pretty obvious that's what you need to do to play around those 3s in the pool, not only the Shelob. And I play Fighting Urukai. Let's see it. And my cards, and I play Desperate Battle. I hope. Oh no, I play Half Orcs because I get 5 post. That makes sense. Even like the only way I can win right now is that if I take Helm's Deep and just like a heroic attack on Minister it. But like I need to take them with this dice. Uh yeah, we discussed I made a mess in MT, and had I like properly reinforced these armies, I would have been able to take both. Round 1, I roll no hits. All right. By this time, I roll no hits. Just can't get a hit to save my life. My opponent gets 3 back. And post, I get 1 hit. I guess that's to be expected. Fine. And I get like 3 free presses. And now this time, because my opponent can play a card and they will play an end, they probably have it. I play Swarm of Bats, and I cancel Nameless Wood, which is excellent, right? That's like a good card play, at least on my part, for once in this game. I get 2 hits, get a little lucky. My opponent gets 3 back. My opponent is rolling nice as well. And at this point, yeah, it's like I'm rolling 3 dice. I need to get 3 sixes. I have Desperate Battle, which I will definitely play. My opponent no cards it. I have three dice, like 6 dice to roll. So I'm expected to get 2 hits. And plus like the extra presses that I might have. I might definitely get it. I get 2 hits. My opponent gets 2 back. All right. Um yeah, and then yeah, at this point, like I said, the only way I win is take Helm's Deep, so I need to do it. I press. Now I get to roll 3 dice or to get a 6. I have no cards to play. I roll. I don't roll a 6. My opponent roll misses, and I don't have any more presses. So that's the end of combat. So my opponent hides, and they will. What? Oh, they don't even hide. They're like, hey, you can't win this round. Therefore, I'll just defend Edoras. Well, I think it's correct. Like I can't win. So what do you have? Okay, you have Atlas. You can just play Atlas and make nothing in the pool deadly. So I flipped the mouse and attack Helm's Deep. I was like, at this point, I felt very defeated. I like this is definitely not the best way to use this card, but I don't have cards. I used everything. The only thing I can technically do is pay me Muster and Orthanc to try to get Ministrit, or again, like do the same thing, which I should have done earlier. But like, I just attacked to see if maybe I get lucky. I attack Helm's Deep. I don't get it. My opponent gets it, and yeah, my opponent just hides. Cool. I yeah, I just mustered an Orthanc. So at this point, all right, I draw a red. Shadow's moving, and I roll one more eye. My opponent gets one movement, right? So if they hit a red, technically I have a shot. And my opponent just like, let's just end this, right? They play, and then I get a Shelob. I get a Shelob, even though they had Bilbo's song. I think they wanted to avoid me putting in another red in. They wanted to not put, because the only tile that can kill them is this Shelob. And that's gonna happen half the time. So I have it right now. As terrible as I played this game, I have a 50-50 chance to win this game. If I roll 4, 5, or 6, I roll 1. Sometimes you just don't deserve it, and you're not lucky enough to win it. So yeah, they just take it. Yeah, they take it. They don't reveal. They don't reveal because they know they have Bilbo's song. They're just gonna play it to go down to 4 until 4 corruption, and eyes only deal 3 corruption. And I put another red because that's all I have to do. It's yeah, and then my opponent immediately plays Bilbo's song. And at this point, if they just ring move, it's over. But like I'm just like mustering back in Orthanc, Morgul. Like I'm just like, you know, yeah, just mustering. My opponent musters. Like yeah, I really I don't even have enough attacks. I didn't have enough attacks to even like, get those two strongholds, right? I didn't have enough army movement to be able to do that. The only other army movement I have is shadows moving, but that's not even enough because now these two things are out. And my opponent just like stops Osgiliath. I'm like, okay, fine. I just move into Helm's Deep and cover Lost Nacht. And my opponent just like ring moves. Like it doesn't matter. Like at this point, I'm not winning this round. They still can win the next round, so they're just like, okay, let's just be done with this, maybe. And the only hunt that I have are still the reds, but that I feel like they will just like make it make the game last longer, not necessarily change the results. And they just draw a zero reveal, and just GG. I think this was an excellently informative game for me. It was very instructive. I definitely had a shot at winning. And I don't think, even though I didn't catch my opponent in the hunt that many times, I definitely like managed to slow them down with corruption. Enough so that they spent what, 4 turns in Mordor? Maybe even more. And had I reinforced these armies, a little bit more before going for them, I could have definitely gotten them, right? Like the fights went so horribly wrong. I think the Helm's Deep I had a 50-50, but I completely messed it up by not playing Urukai and everything. So that went a little unlucky, I want to say. Minas Tirith went super unlucky, but again, I made a stupid press where I shouldn't have and made a mess of things. Even though I got a little unlucky, I should have been able to like play better through the unlucky rolls. Um, yeah, this was very interesting. I still had a shot at winning, even though those like very unlucky rolls. And I want to just like show you. Oh, am I? I'm Jesus. I hope I've been in frame. I want to show you the statistics, right? My opponent is a little bit down on. Oh, wait, 1 second. Uh, boom. So my opponent is a little bit down on movement and wills. Sure. My opponent is very, they've been hitting me for sure, +4. I've been getting, as far as attacks go, I've been getting -3 attacks, a lot of musters, no eyes. So technically, like this is a decent roll enough. But like for me, like I rolled 210 combat dice and I'm down -8 on sixes and -4 on fives. Well, that's insanely unlucky, right? Like a couple, like genuinely a couple more hits here and there would have definitely not only reduced the amount of hits I took, but also would have been able to finish the sieges. Like my opponent had left one regular in Helm's Deep and two regulars in Minas Tirith. So it was like unlucky rolls for me in a couple rounds, right? But like at the end of the day, I got like even I had a shot at winning with that Shelob draw, but that was just like basically just unlucky for my opponent to have drawn the Shelob in the first place. But like I just played worse, right? I just was not on my day. It was a very badly played game for me. Just my opponent played better cards, made better strategy, was one step ahead of me at every step of the way. Had seen where I was getting points, his like knows what I would do, saw my like basically played around a couple of my cards very well. The only thing I kind of did well was being able to cycle character cards to slow the fellowship down, as so much so that they like felt like they didn't need to move until turn 11. But like another thing, I was just I got unlucky with the combat, but like yeah, I got 27 hits, right? I got 27 hits, right? And like if you think about it, if I get 27 hits and the points I got where? I got Pelargir, which is 1 hit. I got Woodland Realm. I got Lorien, which is 5 hits. That's 6. I got Dale. That's 7 hits. I got Erebor, which is another 5 hits. That's 12. Right? That's all my points. Yeah. That's 12 hits. Out of 27, I did 12 hits to get 6 points. Where are my other 15 hits? Like, where are they, man? I just want to see. I just want to talk to you. Like, where on the board have I gotten other hits? Right? My opponent just like obviously okay, I kind of grinded down Minas Tirith and Helm's Deep a little bit. Helm's Deep was like starts as 5 hit points, so I got 3 hits there, right? Out of 15, that's 3 of them here. Maybe like 3 of them are in Helm's Deep or 4 of them are helping. That's 7 more hits. So like, where are my other 8 hits? Like where, man? They just like reinforced everywhere else so well that like, and I just like completely let them reinforce Minister Life. So it's like all these hits I got, I just like wasted them. Not even counting the fact that the cards played allowed some fives and fours to hit as well, right? Like that's how combat cards work. Like it was just MS. So yes, I think I got a little unlucky with combat, but like it was just poor play on my part that at the end of the day like made this game unwinnable by the end. And kudos to my opponent. They just like very much maximized their chance to win to dunk. I'm kind of glad that they didn't roll like I didn't roll a higher Shelob because I don't know if this game I don't know if I would feel good had I won this game, but obviously like at that point after they draw a Shelob, it's a 50-50, so whatever. Um I think yeah, I could have definitely won had I played better. But like which is a very it's a cool thing, right? Like I think I played against the one of the best people, one of the best players in the world, and I technically had a shot at winning, and that like not only invigorates me and it just gives me hope for to the kind of player that I can become in the future. Um, it's awesome to see someone like it's awesome for myself to see myself be in the same ring as like um someone like Quadratic and other like top players in the world because you're literally playing against the best players in the world, right? Like if I'm likely I would bet money the best World Ring player would be in the server right now, right? In the ladder, they have a name. They like so that we're like actually playing against the best in the world. So to be able to somewhat have a chance at winning feels good. And I'm not talking about the Shelob stuff. I'm talking about like had I reinforced those armies properly, and had I like attacked properly and played proper cards. Like, yeah, obviously that's like the skill gap necessary. Like that's what differentiates between a mediocre player and an excellent player. But like, even though it didn't feel like an unsurmountable gap, which is really exciting and makes me want to play more. And yeah, that's it for this one. I hope it was instructive for you as well. It was definitely instructive for me. Um, yeah, I am now 6-4 in the league. Six games, 4-1, like 4-2, so like 4 wins, 2 losses. And yeah, I don't know if I will go up because you need to have a high win rate to be able to have a chance to go up, but you also need to play 24 games. And I'm like trying to get to that level, but it's may or may not be possible. But I'll try to yeah, I'll try to get there. At least play the required amount of games and see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye.